Hello, and welcome to Intro to Don't Starve Reign of Giants. Now, just a little bit of disclaimer. I've been playing Don't Starve Vanilla for a while. At first, I thought it wasn't going to be the kind of game for me. My first impressions were basically that this was kind of a crafty Minecraft. You know, there's a slight challenge at the beginning, and then it gets super easy, and you just goof around and make castles all day kind of game, and it is not that whatsoever. So I started playing it, got super hooked, and ended up... Let's see, yeah, getting to day 131 and decided, hey, you know what, I've been playing this enough that maybe I should make a series on it because it's a really good game. So I went ahead and got the DLC and started, yeah, going to town basically. Or, well, no, I haven't gone to town at all on the DLC whatsoever, but I decided to go ahead and make a series of me exploring the DLC. So I'm relatively familiar with the vanilla game. I've, once again, gotten pretty far, but I haven't nearly seen all of the content yet, but I figure this is as good a time as any, and maybe there's some shenanigans to be had and whatnot. So I wanted to just go ahead and, yeah, experiment and see what there is to see and all of that fun stuff. And I'm talking with my hands. You can't see this, but it's pretty silly the more I think about it. Either way, it's a good enough game to make me talk with my hands, and let's go ahead and jump into it. So, as you can see, it's got a very kind of Danny Elfman slash, oh geez, what's his name? Come on. He did the new Charlie of the Chocolate Factory. He did Frankenweenie. I know the name off the back, like the back of my hand, but I can't recall it at the moment. Yeah, it'll come to me whenever I stop thinking about it. But yeah, Danny Elfman's clearly kind of influenced the music a little bit. It's got kind of that sort of gloomy, cartoony feel to it. So we're going to start a new game. Of course, we're going to leave Reign of the Giants on, which is the DLC, naturally. And yeah, everything else is pretty much set to default. And we're going to go ahead and pick Wilson. So actually, hold on. Let me back out of this really quick. We'll do the intro just so I can kind of explain things a little bit before we get any further. Well, hold on. Let me skip this, and then save and quit. I said quit. Okay, so first of all, what I wanted to do was, yeah, we're gonna delete that. Show that, we have characters to choose from. So this is a proper intro, so I just want to show everything that's about this game, also to satisfy any curiosities you might have about it. So we've also got, so we start with Wilson, and I've unlocked through playing and dying. You get experience after you die based on how many days you survive. And this is over several deaths as I was learning the game. We got Willow, who sets fire to everything. The strongman, or Wolfgang, who gets more stronger the more full he is. This is all has to do with mechanics that we're going to take a look at here in a second, so try to keep them in the back of your mind. Wendy is able to summon her sister's ghost. We have WX78, Wix78, I don't know of an easy way to say that. He's a robot, so he's got some interesting mechanics about him. We got Wickerbottom, who's a librarian, and Woody, whose beard is not hair. I'll just, that's what I understand there. Has a lovely axe, has a terrible secret. All this stuff is really fun. I want to play with some of these other characters as we go, but depending on how long my initial Wilson run goes, we might explore some other characters in the future, and this might become like a mega series, kind of like Factorio kind of has become by accident. So, yeah, okay, now we'll start for real. Well, just to show you, like, there are all these options you can set, and I'm just leaving it on default because I don't know what to expect. Let's do apply, and yeah, start. So again, I haven't actually really played Reign of the Giants, so all this content is going to be new to me. They have new seasons, and new enemies, and new boss monsters, and new items, and all this other stuff to account for, and I'm really, actually pretty terrified, because I don't know how well this is going to work. Say, pal, you don't look so good. You better find something to eat before night comes. I shouldn't really talk over this, because they all talk by way of instruments. So, like, if you go ahead and... Yeah, he talks with a muted trumpet sound, which is kind of interesting. So this is Don't Starve, basically. And whenever I saw this, and I played like a demo ages ago, I was like, yeah, no, okay, so this is your super basic crafting, wander around, get stuff, build a base, and then, you know, have a bunch of goofy fun. But the thing is this game is actually pretty damn difficult. Like, it took me at least 8 or 9 tries before I could survive past, like, my 10th day. Just understanding the mechanics and what's important and what's not, what can be ignored, what's what I should be prioritizing, and all this fun other stuff. So, realistically speaking, this game is not your kind of creative mode goofiness until you're very proficient at the game. I know Minecraft, whenever I first started playing Minecraft, it was a little intimidating because I didn't know what to expect or what to do, but also I played Minecraft way at the beginning before, like, hunger became much of an issue, and all the other little survival effects, and then half the time you just turn it on to creative mode anyways and not worry about it. And you can kind of do this in this game too, and turn off enemies, and even turn off night so you don't have to worry about darkness or anything else like that. You can make food super, you know, available, and in which case, you know, that just makes the game super easy. I prefer to have things be a little bit more challenging than that. I like being able to run around and feel that sense of accomplishment whenever you survive just another day, which is actually incredibly satisfying. Now, I'm gonna guess we're in autumn, because the rabbit holes are open. If it was spring, the rabbit holes would not be open, and these little guys who are running away to those holes wouldn't be available. So, yeah. Again, Reign of the Giants, I'm new to it. There's a couple of mechanics they added. Usually rabbits are available year-round, but in spring, those holes will collapse and they won't come up, and you have to get food from other sources. So, autumn is good. That means, like, the first, you know, few dozen days are going to be really familiar to me gameplay-wise, so I'm not too worried about that. But once summer rolls around, that's going to be an entirely different challenge I am not going to know what to do with. So right now we're just sort of picking up resources, because what we're going to need to do is make tools so we can chop down wood. And this is a fairly large part of the game here, is just, you know, running around, picking up stuff, saying hi to the butterflies. There's birds and everything else, and that's totally cool. So, but here in a second, we can also see that our day is starting to tick down. We've got several meters. We got health, sanity, and hunger. So this does have a really interesting sanity mechanic to it, and you have to be able to really be proficient at kind of fiddling around with it. So, in order to, you know, do some more advanced things in the game, and that's neither here nor there at the moment. But, ooh, okay, and I did the ooh okays that are usually reserved for, like, oh, I almost died, but it was like making sure I clicked on a carrot right. But, you know, that's the kind of accuracy that if you want to do really good at the game, you're gonna have to look at the little details like that and kind of be like, oh no, we need all of this time for what we're doing. So, but yeah, once again, I'm just picking up some basic resources here, and this is pretty much what the first day looks like. Regarding, you know, getting started and everything else. We do have a map, which is tab. There we go. And what? Oh, yes, these are the new trees. So they make birch nuts, if I remember correctly, which is a type of food, or you can use them to plant new trees. And that's you know, that's neither here nor there. I don't have anything to say on that. This is new content again. And I'll kind of point out the difference between vanilla and Reign of the Giants as we go, at least as far as my knowledge is capable of picking up on. So, alright, we're getting pretty close to the afternoon, which as soon as afternoon hits, we're going to start chopping some trees, because we need wood in order to make a fire, and we need the fire to be able to survive the night. It's not like Minecraft where it's like, oh no, monsters spawn, and that kind of a deal. No, darkness is very, very real and very, very threatening in this game. And I will illustrate further once we get to it. Ooh, here's some grasslands. This is mostly what we're going to be doing for the first couple of days here, at least through this intro 2 video, is looking for these grasslands, because they have a very particular resource that we want to have near and available to us as early as possible. Alright, it's dark, so it's time to make an axe. Oh, we gotta stand still for it. Alright, cool. Now we have an axe. We can chop down some trees. I should have chopped down the big trees, but oh well. And then, yeah. I've been playing Factorio for the past couple of days, so if it looks like I'm doing anything weird or juddery, like switching the camera like that instead of opening the menu, it's because I'm trying to open up the Factorio menu. And vice versa on Factorio. Factorio and this game have maybe not in common so much as there's a certain level of familiarity between the control schemes and interfaces and patterns that you play them in to really, really confuse the hell out of you if you switch back and forth in between them. So there you go. They don't necessarily synergize very well, I guess you could say, back to back like that. So we've got a little bit of wood. I still want to continue chopping until it gets a little bit later, and then we'll chop wood through the night and have a nice little store going for us as we move forward here. And we're going to explore eastward and hopefully find said spectacular resource. So let's go ahead and build a fire. Here we go. We've got campfire here. We've got a fire pit that we need stone with, and an endothermic fire, which is Reign of the Giants oriented stuff. So, and then we'll get to that whenever the time comes. So we want to add some fuel. That'll jump the fire up a little bit. Oh crap, we started a fire. So this is a real threat. That was a little bit of an accident on my part. I didn't realize my fire was close enough for that. We're going to hopefully cut down these trees before they catch on fire too. But hey, at least we got some charcoal to start, right guys? Yay! So that's a real problem. Fire is an earnest entity in regards to the threat that it can pose to how, you know, you need to operate with your surroundings and that kind of a deal. Alright, now it's nighttime. We're picking up some charcoal. This will become important later on. So just to illustrate how much of a threat darkness is, you go in here, you cannot see anything. And then scary noises. Okay, something bit me. We're gonna leave now. So, say hello to Charlie. Charlie is what just did a shit ton of damage to us. That was actually a very, very bad amount of damage. We need to go ahead and cook up some berries and eat those and start progressively recovering. We got a little bit lucky in that that didn't kill us outright, because I guess we had already taken some damage from the fire whenever we started that. But that's why you always want to be around a source of light. That's kind of your #1 priority. Charlie is not to be messed with. You cannot attack Charlie. Darkness kind of renders you useless. Like, there's a lot you can't do once actual... Well, we're going to make a torch as a backup just in case for the future. There we go. That counts as a tool, so we can equip it later. But yeah, basically, you always want to be within a light source radius. Otherwise, Charlie will get you, and Charlie will get you good. So, well, let's continue actually chopping that. And now we're kind of at a disadvantage, at least until we eat a significant amount more. But, you know, we'll solve that as we go. Okay. Those pine cones, by the way, I want to keep because they allow you to plant your own forest, which is a pretty important element later on in the game. You will tear through quite a few pieces of wood, and replenishing a forest will eventually become a necessity. We also want to pick up these seeds for the future, because they will... Seeds for the future. Aww. Yeah, but we'll be able to plant farms later on down the road, and that will be useful as well. Okay, so we're wandering through here. There's a rock we can mine, but we don't necessarily need that particular sort of rock just yet. And where are we? Okay, let's, well, zoom out. There we go. I've accidentally made an upside-down penis. You're welcome. Let's see... And we're just going to follow along this road. Now, roads are really handy because, #1, they improve your running speed by quite a significant amount. We got a lot of rabbits over here, which is really, really good news. So we know where to come whenever we need little pieces of morsel-y food. And this is just going to loop right back around over to here. Excellent. Okay. And now we've created a Gonzo, actually. There you go. Classic Muppet Babies, Muppet, etc. Jim Henson reference. There. Okay. So we're just gonna go through here, pick up some more resources, pick up some more food. Right now we're kind of in the wandering phase. We're gonna build a actual base at some point relatively soon, but for right now we actually need to find a good place for a base, and there's a few specific resources we want to have available to us before we actually do that. These maps tend to be pretty large. Like, on the scale of things, I'm trying to think what a good example would be. But the island that you're on, and it is an island, it's not like these maps go on infinitely or anything like that. There's only so much you can generate procedurally, I suppose. And, but they do get pretty large, and so it takes usually a couple days in-game to actually be able to cover all of the ground that is initially generated. Now, this is a very large grassland savanna area. Man, I almost added an extra southern R to area somehow. That would have been impressive. Yeah, this... So, I'm looking for, like, these bison-y things. Where are they? Come on. We're kind of exploring the edges here. It's always good to see the boundaries. So every island starts with about, I guess you could say, like 5, 6, 7 maybe whole biomes. So, and biomes are generally typified by, like, you know, savanna or grasslands or forest or whatever. Your basic kind of biome building block tropes. And whoop, I'm just gonna grab some of this. I'm trying to kind of figure out where it is I want to go, so I'm delaying a little bit. But yeah, no, and so each one of them has their own, like, things that are particular to them. Now this is a kind of forest. This is a deciduous forest, I guess. Yeah, so that means we've got nothing but birch nuts over there, so that's pretty handy. Oh no, I'm getting wet. Okay, this is a new thing that I'm not used to, the whole wetness idea here. So, okay, cool. Here we go. Here's the beefalo. We got some beefalo. It's a beefalo! Yes, that is correct, and that's exactly what we wanted to find here. What we're going to do now is kind of explore up this road. We want to find a good kind of middle ground that we would want to actually build our base at, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go down this road. Let's see. I'm waiting to see how all of this rain business works out. This is a new mechanic they added in, oh my. Is this? We got a Maxwell statue, some clockwork things. This is, yeah, okay. Well, we know that's there. That doesn't have any particular significance except for the Maxwell statue, which I believe you can mine for some things, but they've got a clockwork knight over there, and I do not want to mess with that just yet. That would probably be not so great. Our sanity is slowly declining. Oh, I forgot to build this. Come here. Yay, garland. Okay, cool. Oh, and I can also build this hat, which will help keep us from getting wet. So, two fairly... Oh, hey, also this! Perfect! Okay, so this is a touchstone. What we want to do is touch it, and then it's going to allow us, if we die, in the unfortunate event of our death, we will actually revive right there with, you know, a good amount of our health and sanity and everything else missing, but we'll still be alive. This game does have permadeath. If you don't have a backup like that... Hey, a pickaxe and some rocks. Okay, well, we might have discovered our starting, or our base location. Let me go ahead and poke around just a little bit more, see if there's anything north or anything like that. But, yeah, basically, I forgot what I was saying. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. So, yeah, you want to be able to revive as many times as possible. You have the touchstones, which there's usually 2 in a world whenever it first spawns, and then you can make something called a meat effigy, which requires some exotic components that you'll be able to actually build in order to act like a touchstone, basically, and you know, you'll revive at that whenever you die, and that kind of a deal. So, super handy, useful. Good stuff, raring to go, that kind of a deal. Now, we are at full capacity on our resources right now, which means we should absolutely build a base pretty much as soon as possible at this rate. So, man, we really need a science machine too. This is getting tricky item management wise. So, fortunately, this also functions as a pause, so we don't have to worry about it getting dark while we're not paying attention. Yeah, you know what, I'm going to set up camp right in the middle here, and then the beefalo will provide us with wool for stuff, and also a fairly decent amount of meat, although I don't like being so close to the checkerboard thing there. So actually, we won't build it here, but we'll build a secondary base up there where the touchstone was, and not necessarily so much a base as it is basically just a chest with some basic things, and we'll get to that whenever we get to that. Now, let's go ahead and build a fire. We need a campfire right here. Okay, we don't have enough stone for, like, an actual permafire, which will become somewhat necessary in the future. So, yeah, let's go ahead and cook. Okay. And then we'll eat all that. We're running actually pretty low on food. It's a little scary. So we're going to collect some birch nuts along with this wood, and that'll help carry us over. Alright, and now it's dark. And yeah, there we go. We usually, if you cook the food, it'll heal just a teensy bit of health, so we can continue doing that. And petals themselves are actually worth just a teensy bit of health as well, and that's all well and good. Now, we made that flower garland because it actually recovers our stamina throughout the day. So let's see, we got a birch nut. We can eat that, or we can plant it. And right now, I'm not sure which one I would rather do. The normal pine trees are interesting, because if you chop them, they have a chance to actually spawn this extremely powerful enemy from one of the other nearby trees, and that can be problematic, to say the least. Now, these also, if you chop them up, they also have a chance to spawn what's called a poison birch tree, and that can also be problematic, but slightly less problematic than the other one. Let's see, this is, yeah, examine. There's definitely something inside there. Yeah, some tastiness is what's inside there. Let's go ahead and test this out. I'm a little curious. Alright, nothing that much, or at least nothing noticeable, since we are currently in a situation where we are at full health, or hunger at least, anyways. But anyways, okay, so that was the first 2 days. What we'll do is we'll end up building a base right about in here, and then we'll dig around and I'll show like basic base building and that kind of a deal. Right now I'm kind of worried about food, to be honest. Food and sanity are both... Oh, hey, we found a ring thing. That's part of another series of objectives, so, and we'll definitely get to that. Let's see, blue mushrooms. Green mushrooms are good for sanity once you cook them. I'm just sort of poking around now, but you get basically the idea, and that was more or less an intro, or a satisfactory intro. Ah, good. See those gold veins in there? Yeah, this is definitely where we're setting up our base. It's a sign. It's a sign that this is where we should build our base. Okay, cool. But yeah, so this has been an intro to Don't Starve, and yeah, there will definitely be more of these as time comes. And so yeah, we should be able to do some interesting things here. I'm hoping to at least make some reasonable... Hey, a pig house. These guys are actually friendly. I mean, they'll run away from you because they have personal space issues, but they're actually super friendly, and you can bribe them with meat and they will follow you around, or you can feed them vegetation and they will drop manure, which you can use for farms then, which is gross, but, you know, it makes, you know, a certain amount of sense for sure. But yeah, anyway, so this has been Don't Starve. I am Cardboard Decoy, and join me for the rest of the series. It should be really fun and interesting. And I will see you next time. Have fun.